Our Unit 2 topic is on solving different types of equations. In the last section, we solved linear equations. In today's lesson, we're going to be solving other equations that have some particular special characteristics. When equations have certain characteristics, we like to give them certain names. And we'll see some familiar words over here in our lesson definitions for the day. The first type of equation we're going to be working with in this lesson is called rational equations. And we've seen the word rational before. The rational numbers, remember, were any number that could be written, the set of any number that could be written as a fraction. So a rational equation is simply an equation where the variable or the unknown is located in the denominator. So we're going to be looking basically at equations that have fractions in them. Now, the techniques that we're going to learn to solve rational equations, which are very necessary when the variable is located in the denominator somewhere in an equation, will also work for any equation that has a fraction, which is really nice. It'll give us some special techniques that'll make those types of problems easier. Another type of equation we're going to work on today is called a radical equation. A radical equation is an equation where the variable is located inside a radical sign. And remember, the radicals were any type of root. So square roots, cubed roots. If your variable happens to be inside there and you're trying to solve for it and as part of an equation, you're going to be solving a radical equation. And there's particular things that you want to pay attention to and particular techniques that you'd like to implement if you see a root in an equation, and we'll talk about how to do those. The last type of equation that we're going to be talking about and working with in this lesson is a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is an equation that has a polynomial in it. And we defined that in the last chapter. But a polynomial where the highest power associated with the variable is 2. So the highest, there's a squared in the equation is basically what we're looking at in these types of problems. Remember, polynomial equations have to all have your variable on the main level with counting number powers. But for it to be a quadratic equation, the highest counting number power that you see in that equation has to be 2. There has to be a 2 in it, and that has to be the biggest one that there is. So we'll look at specific techniques. If you see one of these types of equations, there are certain strategies that you're going to want to use when you go to solve them, and we'll look at those in a lot more detail here in this unit.